What's going on, everybody? Jeremy with Detroit Tech, and today we're talking about action cameras. With GoPro cameras still being multiple hundreds of dollars and plenty of Chinese action cams on Amazon are really fractions on the dollar comparatively, there has to be some other options, right? Well, the Akaso EK7000 seems to be making waves on Amazon with 4.2 stars out of 5 with around 6,000 reviews. So this particular bundle costs about $70 and boasts 4K recording. Is it the budget action cam to grab? Let's find out. Now, I said bundle earlier when talking about this camera. That's because it comes with a metric crap ton of accessories. Has the obvious selection of mounts, you know, the 3M adhesive, the waterproof housing, even a remote that you can mount on your wrist and start and stop recording and take pictures, that whole thing. Check out the affiliate link in the description below for a full list of what's included. Spec-wise, this sports a 170-degree wide-angle lens, a built-in microphone, buttons for power and settings, a 2-inch LCD display, not touchscreen, micro USB and HDMI ports, or micro HDMI ports, micro SD card slot, and built-in Wi-Fi for control via an app on your phone. Overall, the build quality is fine, but not really amazing. I mean, it's light, which is good when you're wearing it, but it feels a little too light and pretty plasticky. The underwater housing feels nice and solid though, so I mean, you know, if you're gonna be doing anything that has the chance of ending poorly, let's say, I'd really just keep it in the housing. Using the camera is, again, fine, not great. The 2-inch screen is not a touch screen, so to navigate the menu, you have to cycle through the modes via the button on the front until you get to the actual settings. Once there, you hit the button on the top and the arrow buttons, and like the record buttons on the top anyway, and the arrow buttons, it's a little bit clunky, whatever. But in these settings, there are all the normal options, how long in between the time-lapse pictures, how many pictures in like burst mode, exposure adjustment, video resolutions, you get the picture. So how does it perform? Pretty okay, honestly. The included remote works from far enough away so you can, set up your shot, hit record, and get your, sweet trick recorded. It has dedicated video and picture buttons, and they work no matter what mode you're in, which is pretty cool. The video quality, I guess it depends on what you're shooting. In 4K, it shoots at 60 megabits per second bitrate, and the 1080 shoots at about 22 megabits. But I'm not actually sure it is a 4K sensor. Check out this review here for a little more info on that. It has the usual fisheye look with the extremely wide-angle lens. If you want to use it for something like vlogging on a budget, you can't help but get yourself in view. The camera does do a decent job of adjusting to the brightness of the environment, but what I can see, there is a lot of noise in the low light situations, and even a fair amount when everything is pretty well. This is shooting in 4K. Shooting in 1080 seems to lower the noise, but it's definitely still there. The 60 FPS in 1080 looks okay. It's not, like epic slow-mo, but it's, nice to slow things down, a little bit of extra smoothness if you wanted that. Overall, I basically just wouldn't even shoot in 4K mode at all. So we did a little bit of a comparison. We compared it with a GoPro Session and a Yi action camera. You can actually see here, the Akaso is very saturated and has a small freaking dynamic range, man. Like, details really get lost in the darks. The audio quality is great, but is adequate, I guess, with the housing off. The Yi, however, does actually improve on the audio quality. But once you put it in the waterproof case, the sound quality suffers quite a bit. It also has Wi-Fi for a compatible app to control on the camera as well. It's a little bit tricky to get into. You have to get into still picture mode and then hit the down arrow button to turn the Wi-Fi on. I guess it's better than adding it deep in the settings, but whatever. Once you open the app, you can get a mostly live shot from the camera. It is delayed a second or two, but I mean, honestly, you're really fine to set up a shot and make sure you have the correct framing, that sort of thing. There aren't many options in the app for any major picture changes. You would actually have to dive into the menu on the actual camera. So ultimately, is this thing worth the 4.2 out of 5 stars on Amazon? No, not really. I mean, the video quality, it's definitely not as good as a full-fledged GoPro or even a Yi, and the app is not as good either. And it definitely doesn't come with the nice editing software that you have with the GoPro. It does cost a fraction of a GoPro, but it's basically the same price as the Yi. And there are tons of accessories with this one, but if you buy them separately, you can do that with the Yi and you get what you need, and it's like not a whole extra backpack worth of crap that you don't need. Plus, the accessories for the Chinese action cams are pretty freaking cheap. You might think this would be a good way to just kind of see if you want to get into the action cam scene with a nice cheap camera, but honestly, I'd rather go with the Yi. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope this sheds some light on this action camera. If this was helpful, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. If you'd love high ISO and tons of noise in your footage, hit the thumbs down. Either way, let me know if you're planning on getting this in the comments below, and we'll catch you in the next one.